Final Fantasy VII was a groundbreaking accomplishment when it was released back in 1997, pushing JRPGs as a whole into a more mainstream position in the West, topping charts and receiving great acclaim from critics at the time. Even now, over 25 years after its release, people still call it the best video game ever made. And in this video, I'm gonna share my opinion on why it's a great game and why you should play Final Fantasy VII right now. With the release of Final Fantasy VII Remake and upcoming sequels on the horizon, it's a great time to revisit the game that spawned numerous spin-offs and even a flawed yet enjoyable movie. Now before I go any further, I want to state that despite being called a remake, Final Fantasy VII Remake is not at all a remake. It is the first part of a sequel to the original game, and I won't really be talking about it much this time. If you manage to make it this far in your life without hearing any spoilers, I want you to know that you won't get any major spoilers here, and I commend you more than anything. I wish I was in the same boat as you so I could experience this incredible story for the first time all over again. In Final Fantasy VII, we follow a mercenary and ex-soldier named Cloud, who has been hired by a group of eco-terrorists named Avalanche, headed by a man named Barrett, to help bring down mega-corporation Shinra, who are guilty of sucking the life known as Mako out of the planet and selling it as energy. Following a mission with Avalanche, Cloud meets Aerith. I'm not sure how to say that. A humble flower girl from the slums who hires him as a bodyguard out of fear for her safety because she possesses a lineage that is necessary to find the Promised Land. Shinra have been tracking Aerith for a long time and wish to kidnap her so they can gain infinite Mako from the Promised Land to sell for profit. It's not long before Aerith is taken by Shinra, and so Cloud, his childhood friend Tifa, and Barrett make their way to Shinra HQ to pull off a daring rescue. Amongst the carnage at Shinra HQ, the motley crew encounter an extraterrestrial being called Genova, and also a legendary soldier named Sephiroth that was assumed to be dead for 5 years, had just murdered the president of Shinra. The gang barely make it out of Shinra HQ with more than a few questions, and go to a nearby town called Calm to regroup and think of a game plan for solving the mystery of Sephiroth's survival. The battle system in Final Fantasy VII is incredibly well put together. In the fights, it's just the standard ATB that the series is known for, and as you take damage, your limit gauge will fill up, and when it does, you can unleash your limit, which is a powered up special attack. You can unlock new and more powerful limits as you progress through the game, mostly through fighting battles until the final limits, which you have to unlock by doing side quests. There's also a phenomenon called All Lucky Sevens, where if the character reaches 7,777 HP, they will go on a rampage, dealing 7,777 damage until their health is changed away from that number. While all those features are fun and cool, it's in the materia system where the beauty lies. Materia is crystallized Mako, is the same stuff that Shinra are after, and is essentially just stones that contain magic that you can equip to learn spells and other useful skills. The skills and spells gained can also level up with battle experience and even births an entirely new materia of the same type once fully leveled. What makes it truly special is the depth and flexibility of the materia system. On the surface it's just spells and abilities, and it can certainly be used in that fashion without any great drawbacks. But if you look deeper, you see endless combinations of materia that play off and empower each other, combinations that can give you an edge in an uphill battle. From abilities that can attack all enemies while simultaneously draining HP to chaining summoning magic that would otherwise be impossible, the materia system is largely slept on and unexplored to its full potential. Final Fantasy VII is so diverse when it comes to towns and dungeons that I struggle to think of other games in the series that can match it. Each area is so distinctive and different from any other, and it's incredible how much variety can be found. So as usual, I'm just going to pick out a few of my favourites and talk about why they stood out to me. While you spend the first few hours in Midgar, you get used to the setting as the baseline for the rest of the game, and it might go over your head just how well designed it is. A bustling metropolis built on a giant plate, often compared to a pizza far above the ground, supported by 8 different reactors and a number of supporting pillars that help power the massive structure. There is a very apparent class divide in Midgar. Those who live on top of the plate generally lead comfortable lives working for Shinra. while beneath the plate is a slum built on the decaying earth in the shadow of the massive city, and the people that live there breathe the polluted air of the reactors. The visuals of Midgar are quite cyberpunk in design, with pipes, large and small, cables and neon colours emanating from dark backgrounds. It pushes the divide between the plates and really creates the lived-in dystopian vibe that fits this city so well. Cosmo Canyon is my next choice because it has a few unusual design choices that probably shouldn't work together, but somehow do. Its desert campsite appearance gives way to the thought of a place with little to no technology, yet Cosmo Canyon is topped with an observatory. The lack of nearby cities and light pollution make it an excellent place to view the stars and is of great importance to those that wish to study astronomy. Beneath Cosmo Canyon lies a sprawling series of caves, which once was the site of an attack on the village, and now it's locked up as the caves are crawling with the spirits of those who lost their lives in the attack. The canyon itself emits a beautiful yet eerie red and orange glow as the light of the campfire in the centre of the village bounces off the walls. The treehouse-like structures that cling to the walls really bring life to the otherwise flat-looking cliff faces, and the steampunk-like observatory definitely is the crown jewel to top off this beautiful little town. Nibelheim is a rustic-looking village nestled in the mountains of the western continent, but it was once on the verge of being incredibly prosperous thanks to Shinra's interest in building one of the first Mako reactors in the mountains just to the north. However, not long after the construction of the reactor, monsters started to appear near the town and it was eventually deemed unsafe. The village itself is quite small and consists of houses surrounding the central square, which also happens to be a large wooden water tank. But behind the picturesque village, a looming structure with Gothic architecture, almost peering down upon it with a dark gaze, the Shinra Mansion, an old abandoned mansion that was used during the construction of the Mako reactor as a lab for horrendous experiments and contains many secrets. That's just a small few of my favourite areas in the game, and hopefully I've shown you how much variety and thought was put into each and every map in this amazing game. So many details, some that I haven't even touched on, bring life to the world and really make it feel truly alive in Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII boasts a rich and diverse cast of characters, each with their own unique personalities, backgrounds and contributions to the epic tale. So I'm gonna pick a few of the characters that we get to know early on in the game as to avoid major spoilers and talk about them. Cloud is the main protagonist of the game. His spiky blonde hair is one of the most distinctive haircuts in gaming, and his enormous buster sword is iconic and instantly recognizable. Born in Nibelheim, Cloud up and left at a young age to chase his dream of becoming a soldier and the fame and fortune that follows. When we meet him many years later, he is no longer a soldier and instead works as a mercenary and is hired by Avalanche to help with their mission, where we learn that he is lifelong friends with Tifa, who is also a member of Avalanche. Early on in the game, he comes across as reserved and emotionally distant, but as we get to know him more, we learn that he is struggling with many inner conflicts. Cloud is chosen as the party leader because he is tough, stoic and dependable. He makes little fuss and he sees things through to the end, and despite his hardened persona, he's a genuinely caring, supportive and nurturing person. Barrett, the leader of Avalanche, is a large, imposing man that has an enormous gun grafted onto his right arm. He is not afraid to shout about what's important to him, and he fights tirelessly for his beliefs. As you would expect from a leader of an eco-terrorist group like Avalanche, he can be rough around the edges and has a big temper, but his tough exterior covers a genuine concern for the world's well-being. He's a heavy-hitting ranged attacker with his unique gun arm, and he should definitely not be taken lightly in a fight. His firepower would be more than welcome on any team. Barrett is larger than life, rude and has a habit of swearing that gives him so many unique moments in the story. But he is truly soft at heart and he truly cares for the lucky few that can get close enough. He is a diamond in the rough and really shines as the story progresses. Tifa in a lot of ways is the catalyst of the story of Final Fantasy VII. She moved to Midgar some years ago and started working in a bar called Seventh Heaven, which just so happens to be the base of Avalanche's operations. She is the one who asks Cloud to join Avalanche in their fight against Shinra. Tifa is a versatile fighter specializing in martial arts and close-range combat, making her a formidable fighter on any team. But her greatest strength is her emotional maturity. She's loyal and compassionate and supports those she cares about out persistently. But underneath the surface of her kind and caring nature lies a wellspring of personal struggles and complexity that is as refreshing as it is heartbreaking. She is a testament to the strength that can be found within, and she is an incredibly well-developed character. Eris is a quiet flower girl from the slums of Midgar. She meets Cloud as a result of him crashing through the roof of a church and landing on the flower bed that she tends to. Eris is sought after by Shinra because she is the last remaining ancient, a race that is said to have a more profound connection to the planet, and because of this she is thrust into the story along with Avalanche. She is gentle, caring, and excels at healing and protective magic, and is more than capable of turning the tides of battle, even from her more passive role on the team. Eris's job as a flower girl is the perfect way to introduce her, as she herself is a delicate flower in a world consumed by chaos. She's a fascinating blend of purity, spirituality, and an unexpected resilience that makes her incredibly enchanting and unforgettable. And that's just some of the reasons I love these very unique characters. I genuinely love this amazingly well thought out and diverse group. I would have loved to go a little deeper, but it's incredibly difficult to avoid spoilers in some way or another, be it in this game or one of the many spin-offs. Final Fantasy VII has been on the block for a while, and it certainly has dated graphically, but where it truly shines is its storytelling and narrative. It's a chance to immerse yourself in a rich, compelling story, memorable characters, and an enduring legacy. Whether you're experiencing it for the first time or revisiting it for nostalgia's sake, the game's timeless qualities continue to make it a worthy adventure. It doesn't top the best games of all time lists for nothing. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you have any questions, leave them down below, or you can catch me streaming over at twitch.tv/maxweaponage on Sundays. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.